So yeah, as I said, my name is Tshepo Rabutapi. I'm the educational technologist here at Komani campus. Uh, let me just try and introduce myself with a PowerPoint presentation. Uh, so you might know me that I come from DLT, and under DLT we have quite a number of units. One of them is learning and teaching with technology. One of them is academic development. One of them is uh, HAL. Another one is writing center. So all of them, we are sort of like support departments. For me, under LTWT, we have two people, which is an instructional designer and educational technologist. We used to have e-learning assistants in the computer labs, but this year we don't have. So educational technologies generally, we assist students and train students on digital media for learning. Instructional designers, they do the same as me, but for lecturers. And then there are other departments like academic development who train lecturers on how to teach. And there's PAL, you know what PAL does, and tutorship. There's also writing center. I hope you know what writing center does. Yeah? I think that the number you two is fine. We don't need to have more people. Uh, so what we do is that we advise on evaluation of instructional media. Oh, okay. We advise on evaluation of instructional media. We also do into what we call evaluation of teaching. Evaluation of teaching, I think that I sent you links recently for you to evaluate how lecturers have been teaching you in class. We also have digital literacy interventions. A digital literacy intervention is something like we are doing now. Some of you on your first year, I trained you on how to use Moodle, wasn't it? And then I also trained you during orientation on how to switch on computers, those kind of things. Ne? We also assist lecturers in using WiseUp, Moodle, and all of those things. So most likely, if your lecturer says submitting your assignment to WiseUp, it means that we have trained them on how to submit that assignment to WiseUp. Ne? We also advocate for what we call blended learning. Blended learning is these skills that the lecturer would have to teach using technology, whether it's teaching using projectors or Moodle or whatnot, and they are also able to teach also face to face. Office Yam, I think you all know it. It's at D20, and that's my email, and also that's my phone number. Can I ask how many of you here are from Bakawe? Where Bakawe last year? Only how many students are? Okay. So that is okay. I'm gonna just stop the slideshow and I will get to the slideshow that we we are here for. But before I start, because there's so few of us here, I would be interested in having us to introduce ourselves. Can you do that? But you're gonna do it, Shosho. We're gonna do it in a bit of an exciting way. Can we all stand up? Can you just all stand up? I know, but I don't know you. I don't know you. Can you all stand up? Uh, so you see now. Can you all stand up? So as we stand up, guys, I'm not going to allow too much traffic in and out. Ne? Can you do one thing? Can you just raise your hand? Raise your hands like this, and then do this. It's just to shake out negative energies of the morning, ne? Just to shake them out and get us energized. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to introduce myself, ne? And I'm going to try my best to be wild when I introduce myself. Ne? And then the next person, also you introduce yourself and you do a wild action when you say your name. So I'm going to introduce myself. After I introduce myself, you say hi Tepo with the same action that I did. Then the next person introduces themselves. They do a wild action. We say hi that person with that same wild action. Can you try that? Can you try that? All right. I'm going to introduce myself with some form of wild action. After I say my name is Tepo with that particular wild action, you are going to say hi Tepo with the same wild action. And then we move to the next person. The next person now does a wild action, and then we say hi to that person with the same type of wild action. All right, all right. We are supposed to still be doing this to shake off. So my name is Mr. Tepo, and then let's move to this guy. What is your name? All right, let's move to you. My name is Lizzo. Hi, Lizzo. And then you? My name is Ayabulela. Hi, Ayabulela. Buenas. Hmm? My name is Lokupiwa. Let's start. Go to you. My name is Next one. My name is Sonke. Hi, Sonke. My name is Lee. Hi, Lee. Okay, my name is Oli Ashikapu. Ashikapu. Yes. And then my name is Minenka. Hi, Minenka. Sir? My name is Atanati. Hi, Atanati. You? My name is Magaripo. Hi, Chakaripo. My name is Bukosi. Hi, Bukosi. My name is Hado. Hi, Hado. My name is Shona. Hi, Shona. My name is Sia. Hi, Sia. My name is Sima. Hi, Sima. My name is Bazi. Hi, Bazi. My name is Kilera. Hi, Kilera. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Uh, uh, so what are we here about? I hear about this. We have an issue about that usage of generative AI as I mentioned. Currently, there's like about 6 or 7 honor students whose research came back because the supervisors thought, these people just copy and paste that things from generative AI, they didn't do the research. Ne? So before we go too far and tend to fail our research or even the lecturers, some supervisors will actually dump you if you use it too much. We need to first learn how to use it. Uh, where I do my studies, we are allowed to use it, but when we use it, we are expected to explain how we use it because they expect that in higher education, we are supposed to find what you call new knowledge. If you are a researcher, you are supposed to be a person who gets to find new knowledge, something that the world didn't know. So how AI is being used, how AI was created, most of these AI tools, let's say the ones that give us text, how they are used is that, how they are created is that they took a lot of information from the internet, né? Information from Facebook, information from Twitter, information from Wikipedia, information from journals. They combined all of that information into this thing they call machine learning. So when the process of machine learning is finished, meaning that they teach the machines to that content, there comes out a model. That model is the one that you are now using. It is now able to communicate with you in what you call human language. Ne? When you ask it a question, it does not find something new. It finds something that was stored in the internet a long time ago. Ne? Uh, Case in point, let's say for example, we we get on Facebook, ne? And then she says that I'm Nigerian, ne? And then she says I'm Chinese, and then she says I'm Japanese, and then I say I'm South African. All of us we have said something about one person. Ne? Now, if now that information gets put into this machine learning has got no way of finding out what is true and what is false. Right? And what makes it so wrong is that now, sometimes when this one asks, what is the nationality of Mr. Ted? It can pick Japanese. And then you then take that information as if that information is true, but actually that information is wrong. Next time it says it's Chinese, that information might still be wrong because it has got no ways of verifying some of that information. Next time it says I'm South African, and then you realize that first time you said this, second time you said this. Why should you believe that I'm South African? You see that kind of a thing. So objectives of today, we have to understand appropriate and inappropriate use of AI. We have to discuss ethical consideration and academic integrity. And then I'm going to provide guidelines of how to use that AI in your research and so forth. Ne? Uh, Most of the time, when I use I don't know if this is the presentation that I picked. Let me see. This is not the presentation. Let me just. This one is meant for. It was meant for something else. I'm gonna try and find another one. Yes, this is the one. So I've already explained that. So yeah, this is the slide that I wanted to be on. So most of the time when I use I use it to enhance my learning and my productivity. What do I mean by that? Uh, the reason I'm an educational technologist is that the background there is that I've done computer science, ne? Which is a pure science. It has got nothing to do with education. So in all rights and means, I shouldn't be teaching you because I'm a scientist. Ne? And then when I came to WSU, I had taught for like 5 years at primary school, and then I came to WSU. And when I come to WSU now, there's all of these terminologies that are used in education that are not used in science. Terminologies like learning styles, pedagogy, theoretical frameworks, those terms that are just unique to social sciences and education. And at many times I found myself confused, especially in meetings with these doctors. They'll always be speaking their very big English, and I wouldn't even know what they're saying. So I use AI a lot to try and get to simplify terminologies. And you also can use AI to simplify a lot of terminologies. Let me show you an example. Ne? I'm gonna go to ChatGPT ne, and give you an example. No, this is the one. Let me just log in here. So now you can see my screen in a different way. So most of the time, let's say I get into a meeting and then I'm told we are using this type of pedagogy and this type of andragogy or whatever that is. I would then come to ChatGPT and say, explain to me what andragogy is. Ne? But because I know that it's most likely going to pick the terminologies which are also very problematic for me, I can ask it to explain to me the difference between pedagogy and andragogy in such a way that a grade 6 learner would understand. Let's face it, if you are going to explain something to a grade 6 learner, you have to make it so simple, right? And you don't have to use like very, very, very big terminologies, right? So I'm gonna ask it right now, ne? Uh, define what is it, pedagogy, ne? And andragogy, like I am a grade 6 learner. You will see that the English that it uses is actually very simple. That if you have a grade 6 learner who understands simple English, they'll be able to understand the difference between pedagogy and andragogy. RIT, pedagogy is a way teachers help kids to learn in school. Is that not true? It is. No? It's about how they plan lessons, explain things, and make learning easy and fun to understand. Do you think that a grade 6 learner will be able to understand this? Now let's get to andragogy. How adults learn. When grown-ups learn, they often like to be more involved in deciding what they want to learn and how they learn it. Adults usually learn by using their own life experiences. So then, when I'm in a meeting with Dr. Banban and he's talking about pedagogy or andragogy, I now understand what exactly does it mean. So any difficult terminologies that I meet up with, because I'm a science person, I can easily understand them using ChatGPT. I don't ask it to do my assignments and then copy paste. I just ask it to explain to me in a simple way that I would understand. And I usually pick grade 6 learners because for grade 6 is very easy. Ne? Let's go back to the presentation. Yes. And then, no, no. There's also effective collaboration. It helps me to collaborate with my colleagues very easy. There are many apps that use generative AI. Right now, I'm picking on the text ones, but other apps that I can think of is, when you're taking pictures and you have this app that shows you how your kids might look like. even though it's a lie. That is actually generative AI. Yeah? It takes a few pictures of you, and then after it learns how you look like, it then gives you other pictures of what your kids would look like. There's also AI in GPS and whatnot, the one that you used to drive. Someone had to drive all of those streets and pick GPS points, take pictures of all the houses, put them in a model, and then now we can find directions to wherever we want to go. So they feed that information. After they feed that information, we will now be able to use that information as if, uh, and then it also allows us access to information and ideas. By this, we mean that as much as people have put in all of that information, we can generate new ideas from ChatGPT, and you can also access quite a lot of information. What do I mean by that? Let's say next year you are doing your research, ne? And when you do your research, you are expected to have a theoretical framework, you are expected to have a topic. You might have an idea of what topic you want, but you don't have the exact topic that you want. Ne? So let's say maybe because I'm a technology person, I say I want to know how teachers use technology to teach accounting. Ne? And then I'm gonna ask ChatGPT that. Let me just go back to ChatGPT here. I'm going to ask to say I have an idea and I want to do research. And this idea is that I want to know how teachers use technology to teach accounting. Let me ask that. I want to do final year project, research project, ne? On how teachers use technology to teach accounting. So I'm gonna ask it to give me at least 10 topics. Ne? Why am I doing this? I'm trying to get 10 topics. The reason I'm saying it should give me at least 10 topics is that I am now asking it for, it's not showing. I'm asking it for potential ideas. That is why even here I was saying that it can give us information and ideas. I'm on this part of ideas. We're gonna go back to the part of information. Eh? Let me just show you something. Let's duplicate this. Good. So I said I want a final research to do a final research project on teacher use of technology to teach accounting. Give me 10, at least 10 topics. Ne? And I need to hear 10 possible research topics on how teachers use technology to teach accounting. The first one is exploring the effectiveness of digital tools in teaching accounting concepts, the role of LMS in accounting education, the impact of interactive simulation in students understanding educational practices, and so forth and so on. So now, you'll be the one who decides which topic seems like it fits best what you want to do. All right? And then you will pick that. I'm gonna pick this first one, exploring the effectiveness of digital tools in accounting concepts. Ne? And then we'll go back to the information. When you do your research, you'll be required to have a theoretical framework. Isn't it? Now, I want 10 possible theoretical frameworks that can actually assist me in doing this research. Rather than under normal circumstances, you will have to read a lot of papers. You will have to read about TPEG, SAMA, what. Ne? But we now want shortcuts. But our shortcuts must be that it's you who gets to decide what you want to do. Ne? You don't just copy and paste things from uh, these tools. So I'm gonna say choose number one, which is the first one there. And then I'm gonna ask it, please give me at least 10 theoretical frameworks that I can use. Ne? So once I ask it to, what is it doing now? Let me just pick this one. So what you see here, it gives you 10. The first one is obviously TPEC because it's the most popular. And then there's the SAMA, there's the constructivist learning theory, Bloom's taxonomy, connectivism, so forth and so forth. Which one should we choose here? Because now it gives you TPEC and then it explains TPEC a little bit. Now you as a student, you are the one who gets to decide which one fits what you want to do best. Ne? And then you will ask it to explain it more. Which one do you think you want to explain more here? There's TPEC, SAMA, constructivist, Bloom's, connectivism. Bloom's. Let's explain Bloom's. Ne? Explain Bloom's further. Ne? Now, this is before you do your research. Ne? This is before you write anything. This is before you copy and paste anything. Now, here it is. I asked it to explain Bloom's further. And then it's explaining Bloom's taxonomy further. Yeah? There are no citations here, ne? And you can't copy this and paste it as your assignment. I'll show you. So Bloom's taxonomy is a framework that classifies different levels of learning, and then it explains remembering, understanding, applying, analyzing, and so forth and so forth. If you now think that this is the theoretical framework that you need to do, you will continue exploring this. Ne? But I will stop here for Bloom's and I want to go back to something else. There are also things that you can use these tools for, which would actually, is it not? Yeah, it's there now. So I explained these ones, but there are also risk and ethical considerations. The first one is plagiarism and academic dishonesty. Plagiarism, do we know what it means? What does it mean? Huh? Huh?
And not give credit.
And not giving credit. That's plagiarism. The difference, the definition of plagiarism is actually a big debate, ne? Because if I write an essay, ne, and then you take it as it is, it's considered plagiarism, ne, without crediting it. And then there are other people who take my essay as it is, they put it on ChatGPT to change all of the words, right? And then they submit it. That also counts as plagiarism. There are people who do this. There was, in my thinking, there was this popular doctor who died sometime ago. Not a doctor. Uh, he copied a thesis, a whole PhD thesis from someone in Germany. That thesis was written in German. And he paid someone to transcribe that thesis into English. And he submitted it as it was. And then the supervisor at the beginning did not actually pick it up. It was picked up later on that they see that the flow of ideas were exactly the same. Equal plagiarism where you would copy something from someone and change it and then just push it as it is, and unfortunately you would immediately get kicked out of the university for that. And then there's also academic dishonesty. We'll talk about this at a later stage. And then there's also a problem of over reliance on AI. How do you see that you are over reliant on AI is? when you have an assignment and you decide that you will do it on the bus, whole weekend, semanzana, yeah? And come Monday morning, you remember that you have an assignment. You go to AI, copy paste, copy paste, copy paste. That is the problem you have. And then there's also a problem of misinformation. On the part of misinformation, I want us to do this smaller exercise. Ne? I hope this will be enough. Connection. This thing will show you that. Remember that at the beginning when we started, I said that. No, please be shared. I'll give you if yes, share. I share with you because I really like one. Now, remember that when I started, I said if this one puts information about me, this one puts information about me, and this one puts information about me, ChatGPT will take all of that information as if it's true information. Right? So these are just some very few examples of it. Let's see the first one. I'm going to ask you to just take out your phone and we will look at this. We can Google it. The questions. The first one is what is the one weight similar to before that starts with a D? So someone asked ChatGPT, what is the one weight similar to before that starts with a D? Now the answer there is the word similar to before and starts with a B is rebellion. How true is that? It's not true. It's not true. Now, I'm going to ask you a question. If you are on a bus and you didn't read the question, would you keep this up? You would have just copied and pasted, right? And then the lecturer now gets to see crazy things. The second one, who was the sole survivor of the Titanic? Oh, I have a different thing now. Who was the sole survivor of Titanic? I want you to Google that answer. Read that answer and try to Google if that answer is true. Okay? I'm gonna give you some time on that one. Just read the answer that is there and try to check if that answer is actually true. If you find a different answer, please do tell me. If you find a different answer, do tell me. And the answer would also require some form of critical thinking. Not ChatGPT the answer, Google the answer. Alvina Dine, itsho njalo yakho ne? And then this one yathi Charles Jekin ne? Eyakuthi this one yathi Violet something. Is there anyone else with a different answer? So already we have three names ne? Molly Brown. We have four names now. Melvina Tine. Yeah, she said it, so it's still four. So now we already have four answers. Which one is the correct? How do we ensure that we have the correct answer? How do you double check that the answers that you get are correct? How? That is a question now. Can we search now Titanic crash ne? And maybe check Wikipedia page here and try to browse through it very quick and see if the answer that we get there is actually true or not. That's Google Titanic crash, crash, I don't know the English. And try to get the person who asked who was the sole survivor. Eh? of the Titanic. And some of the questions, people ask questions because they don't have information. And to give you a clue, that person did not have an idea about the Titanic, and he wanted ideas about the Titanic, and then he got the answer that he got. Try to read the answer and try to organize it in your head, and see what could be wrong. Are we not getting it? Huh? Can I give it? Huh? Can I answer right here? Yeah. Somewhere right here. When you read that, the person asked who was the sole survivor. But if you go and find out more information, you'll find out that this sole survivor means only one person survives. But the reality is that there was more than one person who survived. How many were there? Around 700. So a lecturer, or the way you ask a question can actually make the answer that you get from ChatGPT to be wrong. Yeah? They call it academic, in academic terms, they call it bullshitting. Others call it hallucination. Yeah? It's basically where these tools outright lie. They just tell you the lie, and that lie comes out as if it's something that is true, but it's actually a lie. So here it gives you information about Charles Dickens, but the reality of the truth is there was more than one survivor. So it can't be solo survivor. The response that should have come should have been from the Titanic. There was more than one survivor. There was actually 760 survivors. Maybe it can tell you who was the last person to die from those survivors, because it was a long time ago, and the majority of them are dead. If not, they are not all dead. The next question, Ichi, what weighs more? This one will test if you are a teacher. I think it does not need a phone. It needs a teacher. What weighs more, a ton of feathers or a ton of feathers? What weighs more, a ton of feathers or a ton of feathers? And then what does the answer say there? It says they weigh the same. And then it in one ton is a unit weight or mass, that is 2 and it's equal to 2,000 pounds. I don't know the conversion in pounds and feather and tons. So a ton of feathers and a ton of bricks both weigh the same, which is 1 ton. Is that correct? What is not correct there? Huh? What's happening? Huh? Huh? Bricks have more weight than feathers. He's saying that bricks have more weight than feathers. Is that true? Huh? Let's start the question. Wait. Let us start the question. The question is what weighs more? Let's be very careful. What weighs more? A ton of feathers or a ton of feathers? And then it gives us an answer. They weigh the same. 1 ton is a unit weight or mass, and it's equal to 2,000 pounds. So a ton of feathers and a ton of bricks both weigh the same amount, 1 ton. Right? Huh? A is a child. Yeah, a child is a child whether it's a brick or a feather. But the question now is, in Ghana, bricks. Huh? The question was, what weighs more, a ton of feathers or a ton of feathers? Right? You see how easy it can be confused. Imagine now it starts comparing bricks and feathers, and you did not ask about bricks and feathers. You get it? And then when now you will copy and paste. Where what? I think you lecture. Did I really ask about bricks? Huh? So what did you expect the lecturer to do in this instance? Huh? Read the first answer. Ah. No, no, you must read the entire essay. I think you have written an essay. And your essay has got incorrect information. Huh? Maybe if this essay was 4 marks, you get only 1 mark. You see, she's not concentrating this one. You're not concentrating. Don't explain to him. I'm explaining to you. So let's say now you had 4 marks here. You'll only get 1 mark for the way the same. And then now if you're expected to explain further, it means that everything else becomes wrong. Let's get to the next part, which is about uh, academic integrity challenges. We are going back to this zinto of integrity and academic integrity and copying. So we'll come back to these ones. So now this thing it's something that is changing at WSU. They are changing a policy on academic integrity. Right? And there are like 7 points that you need to know about. Right now, I just put four because they are most easiest on the new policy. 18. There is this thing they call cheating in supervised environments. When you come with a invoice, yeah, that's cheating in supervised environments. There is a challenge about that because people are still getting caught with this. I think if you remember last year there was an event in Tata and some students were seen on the camera moving Guzi around and what. It's still there and people know they know when they come to these events. Right now at the campus, and have you seen how many cameras were put? You have not seen them. When you move around, put your heads up, Nancy A, Nancy A. You see them. When you go to admin, there's a camera. Ne? When you up here admin at the top, there's like 3 or 4 cameras that I've seen. Ne? And a person will still cheat. And mind you, when I started recording, I said I'm recording it. So even when you are writing exams, you'll be told that there are cameras and people still try to teach us. They put them there because when it's like you bend everything is not and they want to see that you lose the one. Don't worry about that. And then there's also a problem of collusion. You know collusion very well. Eh? When when you are going to write, the reason you wanted to write online is because if this one moves maths, you go and sit Urumiyake when you are writing maths and then you write together. Eh? The new policy also includes the issue about collusion. That's why recently we had this cover. Eh? The reason for this cover was just to make sure that the collusion does not happen. Because at the end of the day, WSU still has to produce good teachers and good students. We don't want you to graduate and then you don't know what pedagogy is. You are not sure you are in front of students. Alright? And then there's also contract cheating. Here in Zekale, I saw a meme recently of a guy in Kenya. He dressed himself as a woman because EYFI was not ready for an exam, and he tried to go and write for EYFI. You saw it, right? And that guy is very ugly. You will really see that this one is not a woman. Eh? That is contract cheating. When you take your assignments, there are even students who take their research, give it to someone, and pay that person, and then that person does the research. If you are ever found out, you get automatically disqualified for that particular assessment. In some instances, you might get even suspended or kicked out of the university. And the contract cheating also is going to be modified in such a way that it includes the work done by generative AI. Because when you take your work, you put it on ChatGPT, you are not doing it yourself. So generative AI becomes this other person that is doing the work for you. So if ever your lecturer can suspect that you did not do the work, you put it on ChatGPT, they have a responsibility to report you or even give you a straight zero. Whatever measures that they have to take, they will take them. So the new policy also includes that. And then the next one is copying. There are still people who actually copy. You know, I'll be writing an exam. My name is Tero. And then she writes, my name is Tero. I am a boy. I am a boy. And then the lecture, and it's very embarrassing. Last year it happened with advanced diploma students. So I'm telling the and there was like three students. One of them was the first one to write. We saw that he submitted the assessment like 1 hour earlier, and then the others submitted a bit later. They only changed the first names in the first page. So continuing forward, the lecturer requested that they put their student numbers on each and every page. Because the other two did not even bother to read the instructions. Each student number is different on the first page. All the other pages shows the student number of the other student. And everything was the same. What's worse is the first person to do the assessment went to ChatGPT and copied, pasted, and that was it. I can show it to you, but later when you are not recording. And then, so that is basically academic integrity challenges. We're gonna just keep on through this because we are almost done. There is a way to use ChatGPT, and the way to use it is through using it in a very critical manner. Uh, because we know that the information that comes out from it can be false, can be wrong, can be misinformation. And the more it advances, the worse it becomes. Right now, we are at version 4.0 of ChatGPT, and it thinks that it's clever than human beings, and it generates even far worse answers than before. But it generates them in such a way that it's so convincing that the answer that you're getting is true. So you need to be critical on how you use it. The criticalness is what makes us human. First of all, don't believe everything you're told. Even what I'm telling you right now, don't believe it. Yeah? Don't believe everything that you're told. Until you know that our Father has right to do when you they tell you they love you, Muslim. Don't believe everything that you're being told. Secondly, don't believe everything that you think. Huh? Right? I think no, that's motivational speaking. It's wrong. I want to buy the motivation. I say social media to always say you can whatever you think. Don't believe everything you think. Second, first thing, you need to question everything. So when you think something, question it properly. So why do I think I love this person? What makes them important? What is it about them? Where will this person take me in the future? When they call, that can improve my life. What do I have that can improve his life? Those kind of questions. You just question everything. Secondly, question what you think. Why do you think what you're thinking? Sometimes you're just high, sometimes you're broke. Well, and then you start to think things which, if I can open a police station, maybe I'll make money by certifying for people. And then you must ask yourself, but why am I thinking such a crazy thing? That's because I'm hungry, right? Right? So question also the things that you think, and then the next part is to research deeper. Don't always take the first answer that you get. Even when you do an assignment and then you ask Google, don't copy and paste the first answer. I always say the safest minimum is 5. If 5 people, 5 different people can say the same thing that you are saying, then there is a possibility, I'm saying possibility, that what you are saying is true. If I am saying it, she's saying it, she's saying it, and she's saying it, then there is a possibility that that thing is true. That is why even when we do research, lecturers would say for one paragraph that you are writing, one paragraph is 4 to 5 lines, isn't it? You have to have at least 4 citations, meaning that you either agree or disagree with 4 other people on that one particular point. We are reaching consensus as far as that is concerned. And then there's also evaluate your work. You need to be able to read your assignment from start to finish and see that there is coherence. Coherence, right? That your idea from paragraph 1 flows into paragraph 2, flows into paragraph 3, flows into Jalonja. Sometimes when you're using these things, any idea is overlap, any developer. And when the person is working, they ask themselves, where did you get this information? And that might cost you. That is why you're saying that you need to evaluate your work. When you're evaluating your work, you are questioning your work actually. Alright? So how do you know that you are a critical thinker? On your observation skills. Observation skills, if you are moving from here to Alpha and Little C, along the way you see a boy coming up 1 kilometer away. By the way that he addressed, you can make an observation of what kind of a person this person is. And if you are critical enough, you can even analyze from a distance. Okay, this one either is going to take my phone or is just a safe person. It's just a normal person, a follow student, or this person is going to lie to me. And then that's analysis. And then after you analyze, you make an inference. Inference is conclusion based on what you analyze. If you look at and they look like they're going to take your phone, you can change direction. If he's going to lie to you, you must also make sure that you don't listen to them and take action to say, okay, can I listen to this person for 5 minutes and do not be lied to, or I must just also change direction. If it's a normal person, you can just take a decision to just pass. That is what you mean by inference. The second part, the other one is communication. Being able to communicate what you think and what you feel is a sign of being a critical person. If you are able to communicate without the fear of other people judging you, to say, now I stand on this particular point because I have made all the research and the research says I must be at this particular point. Maybe research yako is that there's something happening after Manzana and you don't have money, that's the first part of the research. You don't have a friend owning water, you don't have this, and then you come to a conclusion that today is not my day to go and drink. And you are able to communicate to people without fear of fear that I'm not going there. And then there's also problem solving. How do you solve your own problems? If you know that you are going to go to a particular place at a particular time, you have 30 rands for it takes to go back home. You are already solving problems in advance. So even with ChatGPT, you use all of this. You observe the answers that you get from there. You analyze those answers to check if they are true. And then you also make decisions to say what is being presented here, what is actually true. And then you continue with that. My presentation stops here. I don't know if there's anyone with a question. No one with a question? No? Ingachikon. But the one thing that I might add is always try your best to know how to use the university library. There's this thing that you call, what do you call it again? Uh, it's part of integrity. I forget the name of it. Is that uh, when you do research, there are places where you can actually research, and there are places where you cannot research. If I'm an educational technology person, I write a paper about uh, how how rocks are forming some geography, what, ne? Where do I get the right to talk about rocks when I'm a technology person? Right? And there's so much of that information on the internet. If you have Vukanje, only 23 years, and he's giving you relationship advice, and you're more with this one, has only dialogue with two people in his entire life. But would be easy giving you advice in the entire. Eh, I can't argue that thing of saying in my experience, he has studied that topic such that he can actually give knowledge about the topic. I can give advice to people about supporting students using technology because I support students using technology every day. I've been doing it for the past 6 years. Yeah? So I can have something to say. No one who comes from the library can say, no, I can do this job and I can give advice about this job. So now when you go and search on the internet, you get all kinds of information by all kinds of people. And you need to be aware there are people who cannot say anything about what you are researching. The best way to do that is into your library. Ne? Here at the library of WSU is that there are things that we call peer-reviewed papers. Peer-reviewed papers are papers that, if let's say I write a paper, there should be someone in the same position as me in other universities who can say, okay, Mr. Tefo has written this paper. Let's read it and see if there's truthfulness in what he's saying. So in educational technologies, per se, maybe UFS, NMU, UKZN, they would read that paper, and then after they read it and they confirm that actually this is true, then that paper becomes published. That is how people actually publish. When that is now published and is peer reviewed, then that is the kind of information that you can use. Not a vlog of someone on a 23 and is giving life advice. We happy life advice. Yeah? Who peer reviewed that life advice to say actually this life advice is true? Yeah? So most of the time, most people don't know how to use uh, the library. Let me just go there. The library website. Ne? There's also even this one, the Atlas, but I won't go there. On the library, as at WSU, they actually subscribe to journals. These journals publish peer-reviewed information. So if you go to the library website and you search for information there, the information which is there is much better than the information that you get from people. in terms of quality. So some of the things that you will get from the internet is not participating. Some of the information that you'll get from the library website would do just one more thing. We take two of these and pass it. The rest you will bring them back. Have you all taken to uh, I had another. Is there anyone? I think this one is. I'm going to ask you to hold up that paper that you have, one of them, and not all of them. Hold up one of them, and please fold it in half. After you fold it in half, when you fold it in half, tear off the upper right corner. Yeah, upper right corner. Tear off the upper right corner. Upper right corner. Uh, Now, can you fold it in half again? You have teared off the upper right corner. Fold it in half again. Fold it in half again. Tear off the upper right corner and fold it in half again. After you fold it in half again, tear off the lower left corner. Now, step number three. First step was fold it in half. Second step was tear upper left corner. Second step was fold again. Fourth step, tear off lower left corner. Yeah, lower left corner. Tear off lower left corner. Fold it in half again. And tear off upper left corner. Upper left corner. Upper left corner. Are we done? Uh, let's unfold everything and then just show each other what we have to do. Show your neighbor what you have to do. Because our teachers from internet, the answers will be shown. Why are they so different? As much as we are so you say that the more different they are, the better they are. I don't know. Let's take the second You don't have any I'm going to show you. This is my right listening. Yes. And this is my left. So, let's fold it in half left. Yes. This is how we're going to hold it. This is my left one's left. Let's fold it like this. Alright. And then you tear off the upper right corner. Upper right is this one, Muslim? Yes. Yeah, let's tear it off. You see how I'm tearing it off? Yes. And then fold the paper in half again. Yes. I'm going to fold it like this. You saw how I folded it? And then you tear off the lower right corner. Tear off left neck, this one. Lower left neck. Eventually, fold the paper again neck. This time, remember first time we fold it this way, this time we fold it this way. Let's fold it this way. And then what was the next instruction? Upper left, this one. Alright, let's see how upper left is. And then let's see what happens. Like this or like this, it depends on how you open it. One side should have 3 tiers, one to the left. What do you think about this exercise? Well, why did you say this so different? Was I going to tell you? Well, I was just showing you. Follow the instructions. And I make sure that all of you follow the instructions. Ne? That's basically what I was trying to do with this presentation because everybody was using AI whichever way you want. And I'm hoping that after this, you will use AI in a similar way. It's the middle of the teacher. Even if you want to have class, you need to be able to share information with your learners in such a way that if they have to do it again, they will be able to do it right. We don't just give instructions and then they hope that they will get it right. Because if it's instructions and then they they'll write it on in there because they'll copy and paste it from ChatGPT. Yeah, that said, thank you for being here.